I still believe in SWFTCOIN. I haven't given up, and 50 cents, that is still my price target for this bull run. Now, some people may be thinking that, okay, this is impossible and all this. And again, even though nothing I say is financial advice, and even though I can't tell the future, the way you take a look at it is that this doesn't seem too far-fetched, because if I take a look at AI, I think it could be such a big narrative for an upcoming, let's say, hypothetical peak of a fully fledged altcoin season. And you know what? For me, a very interesting project that is focused on that space is something like SWFTCOIN. I just don't see why this is bad. And I think it brings a unique approach to projects that are focused on global trading finance and the payments market, much like Ripple and Stellar. But again, it has that aspect of AI, so I do like that. Keep in mind, SWFTCOIN is powering the Swift blockchain and AI services, let's say in this case, SwiftGPT. Now, before I get into that, some people may be thinking, oh, it's kind of a simple but boring project, but I disagree with that because, for instance, the Swift blockchain combines AI innovation with blockchain infrastructure, simplifying crypto trading while enhancing functionality through SWFTCOIN, or in this case, let's say ticker symbol SWFTC. Now, before I continue on any further, I'm going to harp back to the point before that I mentioned about SwiftGPT, because some people like to complain about this type of stuff, but the way you take a look at it is this. A lot of AI projects out there, they're not that good, in my opinion. Like, for instance, they have a very big market cap, but they're not that good. And I think a major reason why they have done so well, the reason why they have so many holders and why they're listed in so many exchanges is because in the world of cryptocurrencies as of right now, in my opinion, it's not necessarily driven by projects that have the best adoption or the best fundamentals. It's typically which project has the most hype, has the best narrative, is most interesting, has a very amazing community. And we see many of that when it comes to these AI projects, despite them not having like a standard of being good, at least when it comes to adoption or fundamentals or whatever, at least in my opinion. Now, here's the thing as well, right? The way you take a look at it is that when it comes to SWFTCOIN, it doesn't necessarily need the best adoption out there, but just that AI aspect, I think that right there is already very fantastic. Now, keep in mind, the Swift blockchain is allegedly revolutionizing cross-chain swaps with AI-powered technology. Again, AI-powered technology is very fantastic, of course, right? So when I take a look at something like SWFTCOIN, I mean, it just doesn't feel like a bad project to me. Very similar to Ripple and Stellar, but at the same time has an element of AI. This is a no-brainer for me. When it comes to SWFTCOIN, it kind of reminds me of like a somewhat miniature version of ZBCN, or should I say ZEBEC. I made a very good call on ZBCN, but if we take a look at ZEBEC, right? It's this project traditionally that people usually associate with being very similar to Ripple and Stellar, but then it has an AI aspect, right? Because ZEBEC is focused on AI-based PayFi. But when you take a look at SWFTCOIN, again, it's very similar to something like ZEBEC, right? But then at the same time, still very similar as well to Ripple and Stellar. So I think it's a no-brainer pick for me. If I'm looking for a project much like Ripple and Stellar, but then with a way lower market cap, but then at the same time also has an aspect of AI, SWFTCOIN is pretty much a no-brainer for me. If SWFTCOIN were to go to the price of 50 cents, considering current circulating supply, then at that point, the market cap would, of course, right, be $5 billion. Now, I don't think this is too much to ask for because I get it, 50 cents is around a 37x from here. So some people may think it's kind of bad, but some may think, oh, it's very good. But before I address those two, different scenarios, the way you take a look at it is that a $5 billion market cap doesn't even seem too much to ask for. I mean, many people out there are saying that, oh, Ripple, aka, XRP could do so well. They think that XRP is going to reach like, $1 trillion in market cap. Some other people out there think like XLM is going to reach around 300 billion. Let's say if that scenario does happen, that's combined again 1.3 trillion. That's 1,300 billion. Let's say in that scenario again, 1,300 billion, around 5 billion in terms of market cap can't flow into this. This is just the way you take a look at it. Now, again, doesn't guarantee that it's going to do that, but it doesn't seem like a too far-fetched type of market cap. Now, keep in mind, some people out there like to say, oh man, 50 cents is crazy and all this. Well, again, a 37x, I don't think is that bad because yes, SWFTCOIN is not a micro cap, so they can't do like a 1000x from here or whatever. But in my opinion, anything over 10x is fantastic. So the idea of just like a 37x maybe, it doesn't seem too insane to me. Now, keep in mind, the market is going to wake up when it's going to want to wake up when it comes to altcoins. I'm totally aware of that. But at least we can take a look at some clues, right? We can at least make it a little bit interesting and at least speculate a little bit when it comes to history. Because Historically speaking, altcoins usually they peak as a worst case scenario around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. And the last Bitcoin halving event happened back in April of last year. So 18 months from that time would actually mean around October this year. Will SWFTCOIN, along with a bunch of other altcoins, peak at that exact time? Probably not. We'll have to wait and see, right? I'm not going to guarantee anything because I can't tell the future. But then with the way things are heading, if let's say it continues, I'm not saying there's going to be no pullbacks, but let's say, we see this gradual increase and let's say there's this amazing time where the altcoin season really does happen. It doesn't seem like a too far-fetched type of time frame. And a lot of my friends out there, they kind of agree that, near the end of this year, it could very well be a time where maybe altcoins could showcase themselves. Now, it's only a time will tell type of scenario. I can't be 100% correct because, again, I can't tell the future. But when I take a look at SWFTCOIN, amazing fundamentals, feels like a miniature version of Ripple and Stellar, has aspects of AI. This is a no-brainer for me. And again, 50 cents wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace. Bye.